Chapter 4. Darmir sat up slightly, and the two continued toward their future, engaging in more adventures and love. Christine moved closer to me, and her arms gently wrapped around mine. She gave me a smile before lightly resting her head on my shoulder, her soft hair brushing my neck. Hector stood suddenly. "I suppose that story was wonderful for some," he said, glancing at us. "But I prefer something with useful information. How to fight, for instance." Darmir smiled in disappointment as he looked up at Hector. "Best be careful of your wishes, sir. They sometimes come true, and not in ways you would hope." Hector frowned and said nothing, opening the door as he walked out into the night. Fristel stood. "I rather liked your tale, Darmir. It was valuable if one heard the meaning behind the words." I smiled as Garth stood before Fristel and nodded. Those two would discuss the story constantly for several days. As they left, Christine stirred beside me. "It's getting late," she stood, pulling my hand up with her and looking down expectantly. "I'll be there in a moment," I replied with a smile. She smiled in response and left me alone with Darmir and the dying fire. "You have a question, young sire?" he asked. I stood to face the old man. His expression showed infinite patience and wisdom. "That was just make-believe, wasn't it?" He tipped his head to one side. "Would it matter if it was?" I shook my head. "I suppose not. Still, the way you told it, I can actually believe it happened, and you witnessed all of it." A light came to his eyes. "Perhaps I did." I smiled, thinking he jested. How could that be? The story was only of two people in Vorta. You're certainly no dead dragon that has been resurrected. "No," he laughed. "I'm no dragon." "That leaves Marist and Aleph. You don't look like a female elf, nor can you be Aleph, for you said that Darmir is your real name." A nod came. "True, I'm no elf, and Darmir is my real name." He smiled as if I had missed a grand joke that only he knew. I shook my head in puzzlement. Then I noticed something so odd I looked again. The tankard that stood beside him during the night was empty, but he had not touched it all night. He noticed my interest. "You and your friends are not the only ones who like my tales," he said with a smile. "To answer your unspoken question, no, I did not drink the ale." He gave a muffled laugh. "I never could stand a taste of it." Again I was puzzled, but I decided to carry my few remaining wits outside. As I neared the door, Darmir spoke again. "Young sire, life is full of mystery, and so it must be to keep one feeling alive. Without mystery, life becomes boring and uninteresting. Just consider tonight as a mystery for your mind to ponder." I smiled with a nod, though I did not fully understand. As I stepped outside into the cool night air, my thoughts did their best to right themselves. Gazing into the star-speckled blackness of the night sky, I knew I would not sleep easily that night. There were too many mysteries from the night's tale. I glanced back at the closed wooden door before walking down the path along Darmir's home. A shadow came around the corner, and I recognized it as Christine. Smiling shyly, she held out her arm for me to take. "There's a chill in the air tonight." She pulled herself close until her cheek rested on my shoulder. I drew her closer, enjoying her warmth against mine. My thoughts suddenly focused on the woman beside me. Kissing her lightly on the head, I said softly, "Not for long, my love. But that is a tale for another time."